is Kathy Backus, and I'm the MLA for Saint Croix. Oh my goodness, how long have you got? What are some of my favorite things about Charlotte County? Everything. I think the people, first of all. People are so kind and warm and friendly. It's almost like a family atmosphere. It doesn't matter where you go, whatever part of the community you're in. My husband's mother's family was from Charlotte County. There's a Maxwell who grew up on the Ovenhead Road behind Aussie's, and at that time Aussie's was just a little shack that sold clams, you know, and he ran a ham radio out of the back of it. My husband used to go up as a kid, talk to people from all over the world with Aussie on his ham radio. But some of my favorite things, well, it's just the peace, the tranquility, the scenery, the ability to go for a walk in the woods, go for trails along the river, go to the seashore, travel to Campobello Island, go immerse yourself in history in Macadam. Just keep going. There's lots of things to love about Charlotte County. The middle of everywhere, yeah.
And you worked in journalism for many, many years, producing newspapers. What do you think you learned from this experience?
How to listen to people. That's what journalism is all about, and that's what being a politician is all about. Listen to people. What are their wants? What are their needs? What are their goals? What are their dreams? What are their aspirations? How can you help? My passion in journalism has helped me in politics because I think everybody's got a story to tell. Just remember, there's always two sides to every story, too. You have to listen to people, and you have to find out what they want and find out how you can help them. Just go from there. Do your best. I guess that's all you can do. It's all anybody can do is do their best. So what does a day in the life of an MLA look like? Well, I suppose it differs for all the MLAs, depending on their riding, but mostly I work with people trying to solve their issues and problems, working on a lot of projects, and then you go home and turn around and come back the next day and do it all over again. How many emails do I answer in a day? All of them, as much as I can. There's a great many emails, and it depends on if people are concerned about a singular issue, if they're just emailing me about their private issues. How do I balance replying to the community and working? You just have to set priorities. If somebody comes in, or you have a call or an email from someone who all of a sudden has no home, that would, I think, take priority over somebody that was just complaining that they didn't like the way things were going with the government, or didn't like the way the town perhaps was plowing the streets, or something like that. So you have to set priorities and help people as best you can. A day in the life of the legislature versus a day in the life of me here in the riding. Start with the riding. It's a big riding. I try to get to as many events as possible. If it's an anniversary or a special occasion or a grand opening of a business, a festival, or like Chocolate Fest or International Fest or Family Days or whatever, I try to get to as many of those as possible. But when you're driving from Macadam, which is, trust me, 100 kilometers, because I put it on my mileage from my house. And then if you have to go to St. Andrews, and then going to Campobello, because we don't have a permanent ferry, we have to either drive around or go with the seasonal ferry, which I'm very grateful for, come here to St. Stephen. So it's busy. And I do try to get to everything that I can. And if I go to something and perhaps leave early, it's not because I'm not interested, it's because I have another event that I have to go to. That I really appreciate people calling and letting me know, or emailing me or texting me or messaging me on Facebook to let me know what events are happening, because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want people to think I don't care, and that's where the journalism background comes in, because we used to tell people when I worked at the newspaper, I'd rather hear about something happening 10 times than not hear about it at all. So, and then versus the legislature, it's a lot more formal atmosphere, strict rules and regulations and procedures and things that we have to follow, but it's a long day. Sometimes we're there from 9 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. We do have a lunch break, but it's a lot of procedural things, a lot of bills and motions, and of course the question period's always interesting with the back and forth there. I usually stay up in Fredericton because I don't like the long drive, and you know what the road is like from here to Fredericton, twisty-turny and lots of creatures on the road, so I stay up. So usually we get done at 6, I go back to my hotel room, and I can't tell you how many craft dinner cups I've had for supper in my hotel room. But then I answer emails and make phone calls. And just the other day, I was in committee most of the day, and then we had a caucus call, which was our MLA party. We had a caucus call that began at 8 and it got over at 10 to 10. So sometimes they're long days, but you know what? They're worth it because we get things done. Some of the things that we do or that we handle day to day in the office here in the constituency, if people perhaps have had their power disconnected, need help with lodging, if they have property assessment issues. Jillian and I have always talked, and we say our job is to connect those people with the people who can help them. So we kind of act as the middleman. Perhaps it's a federal issue, so we advise them of that. We sort of analyze what they need and then try to get them the right help to solve their issue. Find solutions. We're the solution people, if we can. Well, you're right that being an MLA is more than just a one-person effort. It takes a team, and I have a wonderful backup person with Jillian Scott, who's my constituency office assistant. She goes to the wire for people. She really researches. We touch base every day when I'm in Fredericton, and she brings me up to speed on what's been happening in the riding and things that she thinks I need to take to the next level. And we also have, we're very lucky because I'm in government and I have government resources. I have departments that I can go to and say, hey, you know, this person needs your help. Here's, you know, once they find, and that's another thing too, we don't do anything to break confidentiality. For anybody that comes in, we get them to sign an authorization form allowing us to intercede on their behalf and to share their information and what their problem or issue is with a government department that can help them. Jillian has contacts within each of the departments. Sometimes the issue is quite broad and big, and so then I kind of take it to the next level, do that. So yeah, we're the go-between. We're the place where people come for help. Most of the time we can, and if we can't, sometimes there aren't issues that can be solved. That's unfortunate. For the most part, we do. But how do I unwind? It's not easy cutting things off. I mean, if you've been dealing with an issue or several issues, or you're working on a project that you really want to see happen, it's hard to leave it at the office. My husband jokes that sometimes I'll be sitting there at 10 o'clock still answering emails or on the phone, and he'll say, threaten to take my phone away. He doesn't. Married way too long for him to, he knows better. You do need time for yourself, and I find a good book or a good Netflix movie or series and a cup of tea, and I'm happy for an hour or so, and then I go, well, I should really answer that email so I don't have to do it tomorrow. But it's hard though. It's hard because you want to keep doing things and you want to keep doing it, but you have to take care of yourself too. I was inspired by, or I am inspired by, Dot Larson. Everybody knows Dot. She's our favorite crossing guard. I got to know Dot a lot better than, I guess, a lot of people. When I worked at the newspaper office, she would come in every Tuesday and Thursday to pick up her newspaper, and I would drive her home because, you know, she had a long walk up the hill. And so we'd get chatting, and I learned a lot from Dot. I learned patience and not to be in such a hurry. My favorite thing about Dot is when she'd leave and I'd say, well, see you later, Dot, have a good day, she'd say, we'll make it a good one. Yeah, and I had a lot of people that inspired me too. I mean, Elsie Wayne was a former mayor of St. John. She started her political career as a housewife in Glen Falls, and she was mad about something about the flooding in Marsh Creek, and she thought she'd do something about it. So she went ahead and got mobilized, got on city council, and then went on and was an MP in Ottawa. And of course, Greg Thompson. He was the MP here for a long time. He got me into politics because I went to work with him, an assistant in his office, just as Jillian is in mine. I said, I don't do politics. He says, you know the people, you know the issues, you know the area, from my work as news reporter. So I said, okay. And one thing that always stuck with me too, I said, Greg, I'm not going to ask people who they voted for when they come in that door looking for help. And he goes, no. He said, once the election's over with, everybody who comes through that door deserves our attention and help, and that's what I've done.
So you think Greg was one of the major reasons that you moved from journalism to politics?
Well, he was the reason, because he hired me to be his office assistant, and then when he unfortunately passed away, the party asked me to run the riding, and I thought, you know what? I always felt I was an advocate for people as a reporter, because you can bring the issues to light. I'm just continuing along that vein, just at a higher level perhaps, helping people with issues. Some hopes for the future of Charlotte County. I just hope we can continue to make this community, or these communities, this area of New Brunswick, a place where people want to live, raise their families, work, retire, and just enjoy themselves. Keep doing what we're doing. That's right.
Well, do you have anything else you want to add on for the end of the interview? Or?
No, I just admire you young folks, and I hope you continue with what you want to do, and I wish you well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.